My name is Rutger Bregman. I'm a historian, and in my humble opinion, bin men and women should be paid more than bankers. So a good way to illustrate this point is to look at a couple of strikes that happened throughout history. So for example, in New York, 1968, there was a big strike of bin men. They were just angry that their wages were not going up anymore. So they said, you know what, we're going to go on strike and you'll see just how important we are. And indeed, 6 days later, the state of emergency had to be declared. New York really couldn't handle it. Turns out you can't do without bin men. 2 years later, in Ireland, there was another strike. In this case of bankers. It's the only strike that I know of throughout history where the bankers actually went on strike. And all the experts at that point, all the economists, they all predicted disaster. This was supposed to be like a heart attack for the economy. But then the strike started and nothing much happened really. It actually lasted for 6 months in the end. So the garbage collectors were on strike for 6 days, state of emergency. Bankers go on strike for 6 months and nothing much happens. The economy just kept growing, businesses kept operating. There are nowadays many people in professions in, say, Wall Street or Silicon Valley that, are often described as the visionaries and the whiz kids who come up with all these wonderful products. There was someone at Facebook who worked there for years and said, the best minds of my generation are thinking about how to make people click ads. That's one of the tragedies of our time, is that we're wasting so much talent. There are so many smart people right now in jobs that don't contribute anything. And it's not necessary, it's not inevitable. We need to rethink who the real wealth creators actually are in our society. So there's some fascinating research, actually, new research from two Dutch economists, Max van Lent and Robert van der, who looked at this whole phenomenon of what they call socially useless jobs. They asked people the question, do you think your job is actually valuable? Do you contribute anything to the common good? Turns out that in modern economies, developed economies, 25% of the workforce says, I don't know, maybe not, well, probably not. If I go on strike, no one really cares. Now, who are these people is an interesting question. Turns out that actually they have wonderful LinkedIn profiles. They have wonderful, excellent salaries. They're often at the top of the pyramid. They're bankers, corporate lawyers, consultants. Basically, a lot of people sitting in offices all day, sending emails to people they don't like, writing reports no one's ever going to read, but still making a lot of money. So that's quite fascinating, right? That the rest of the population is supporting this whole class of people who don't really contribute anything, right? What we're doing is we're spending billions of pounds to educate our best and brightest, and they go to Oxford and Cambridge. And then they go on and they do jobs that they absolutely don't like. I mean, it's not me saying it, it's people themselves saying it, where they don't really contribute anything. What's going on here? Who are the real wealth creators? And the reality here is, I think, is that we're living in an inverse welfare state, where most wealth is actually created at the bottom by people who are doing the real work. The teachers, the nurses, the garbage collectors, you name it. This state of affairs, it's not inevitable. We can change it. And I would like to live in a society where we actually pay people according to their contribution, right? Where we have a real meritocracy. And in such a society, I believe, in the long run, bin men and women would be paid more than bankers.